Yes, it's quite incredible, isn't it? For a by-election, the turnout tends to be low, but it's 47.62%. That is right up at general election levels. The general election 2024, 47.8%. And I think it's a measure of just how extraordinary this by-election is, because this was a safe Labour seat for 100 years. They had a 13,500 majority just a year and a half ago. Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Greater Manchester, wanted to stand in this seat. He might have won, we will never know, but it's a race between the Greens, Reform and Labour, and it's a seat of two halves. Gorton in the west, very high percentage of ethnic minority voters tending to go towards the Greens or to Labour. Over in the east, Denton, much more white, working class, largely older, more inclined to go to Reform. Now, we don't know yet who has got it, but it's sounding increasingly like the Greens think they have taken it, and they say that they are not here as a sort of add-on to Labour. They say that they are here to replace the Labour Party finding itself now eaten alive on both sides, Greens to the left, Reform to the right, just like the Conservatives were in the general election when they were eaten by the Lib Dems on the left and Reform on the right. But I'm joined now by Dan Hodges from the Daily Mail. Dan, thank you for joining us. You've been out and about in the constituency today. Tell us about what you've been hearing.
Well, basically, I thought you summarised it very well there. I mean, what I've been hearing is basically what you're seeing is Labour's worst nightmare and Keir Starmer's worst nightmare coming true, which is both flanks are now collapsing at the same time. So on the left, you're seeing Labour hemorrhaging votes. I mean, I was astonished at the extent when I was out in the doorsteps today on polling booths, the extent to which people were switching directly from Labour to the Greens. Obviously, on the right, you've got very disaffected white working class voters switching directly to Reform. But I think the crucial thing is, to an extent, Labour expected to lose votes to the Greens in areas where it was between Labour and the Greens. But even in those areas where it was a fight between Labour and Reform, the Green vote in those areas is actually, from what I've been seeing, has effectively matched Labour. So the wipeout across the board has been complete, and I don't think this. We were all saying, we spent all the week saying it's a knife edge. It's a knife edge. I don't think it is a knife edge. I think the Greens are going to win very, very comfortably. I think the question is, the only issue is whether it's Labour or Reform that comes second.
Goodness. And these allegations that we've heard about family voting, the Electoral Commission saying that these democracy volunteers had gone in and they are saying that they witnessed family voting. There's a bit of a row going on about that, but how much of an issue do you think that could prove to be?
Look, I can only say what I saw today, and I was out, as I said, at the polling stations, on the doorsteps. I was speaking to a lot of voters, speaking to a lot of Muslim voters. No one I was speaking to within the Muslim community was turning their backs on Labour because they were being coerced. They were turning their backs on Labour for the same reason everybody else is turning their backs on Labour, which is they feel betrayed by Labour, they feel betrayed by Keir Starmer. Gaza was obviously a significant issue, but the reality is, as I've said, if you look across the board, people from all backgrounds, all demographic bases, have basically said, we have had it with Labour and we've had it with Keir Starmer.
So what does this mean for the Prime Minister? Clearly, they haven't succeeded in quashing the threat from Reform. They've now got on the other side. Do you think he's still safe to the May elections? Do you think he'll be Prime Minister at the end of the year?
I think that's an issue for the Labour Party. I mean, this is no secret, I've been saying this for some time, but it's quite clear now Keir Starmer is going, his premiership is coming to an end. The question is now whether we see in the next couple of days a sudden push by the Labour Party to get rid of him, or whether the Labour Party just take a breath, acknowledge he's going. Possibly Keir Starmer himself may indicate, okay, he accepts he's going, and then whether there's a structured process to find his replacement. Obviously, one of the things we've touched on, for example, is obviously the disastrous decision to block Andy Burnham. Andy Burnham can't currently run in a Labour leadership contest, so there are issues that Labour's going to have to resolve. But the reality is, it's over for Keir Starmer. The only question is, what's the mechanism now for removing it?
Yes, I mean, you wonder what might have been. Andy Burnham, very popular in these parts, and he was blocked from standing. But do you think we're now just in a new world of five-party politics, that the dominance, we've seen the dominance of the Conservatives disappear really at the last election. Is that now what we're witnessing for the Labour Party as well?
I mean, that's certainly what we're looking at the moment. I mean, we have to, a couple of caveats. We're midterm. This is a by-election. A lot of the people I was speaking to said, look, I normally vote Labour. I might consider voting Labour again. I've got to be honest, Keir Starmer was raised with me as an impediment to them voting Labour more than the Labour Party and the Labour brand itself. I mean, I think we need to distinguish between Starmer and the Labour Party. But certainly at the moment, what we're seeing is, as you correctly identified, we're seeing the same simultaneous fracturing of the Labour vote on both flanks as we saw with the Tories. So we've both got the Tories and the Labour Party. Basically, their natural support is crumbling all over the place, and that is creating an unprecedented sort of political landscape.
And do you think the Greens, it's such an interesting coalition, isn't it? Because you've got Zach Polansky, the leader, gay, they're very pro-trans, legalising drugs and so on and so forth. And at the same time, you've got the deputy leader, a Muslims with very strict family values and things that you can and can't do. It's a very odd marriage, isn't it, within the Green Party?
I think that's right, and I think we have to be honest. I don't think we can say that this vote and this victory for the Greens is a direct endorsement of Green policies. I don't think I don't think suddenly Britain's Muslim community, for example, woke up this morning and decided, actually, we are going to embrace trans rights, we are going to embrace the legalisation of drugs. I think we have to be completely honest about this. I think this is evidence of the deep disaffection there is, not just amongst the Muslim community, but all communities, at the Labour Party and Keir Starmer, and this sense that they voted Labour in hoping that they would introduce and implement change, and a feeling that they haven't implemented change. I mean, that was something I got consistently. We thought Labour would be different, Labour aren't different. So that's really, I think, the fundamental structural problem that Labour have.
Well, Dan Hodges from the Mail, thank you very much indeed for talking to us tonight. So it's now, 2:10. We will hope to have the result in the next couple of hours. Whichever way it goes, it's an absolutely enormous night, and I think a reflection of the deep dissatisfaction that we had, yes, in the last general election with the Conservatives, but that now we are seeing with the current government, who've only been in office, don't forget, just over a year and a half.
Catherine, that breath before you said 2 hours, that portentous, weighty breath, that this is going to be the most exciting 2 hours, I'm sure, of televisual history, at least for the political year so far. Catherine Forster, for now, thank you very much indeed for being there for us, live at the Count for Gorton and Denton.